So I'm coming home from a party and walking home. It's late at night.
It was Saturday. So we're sitting on the curb and I see this really tall guy on the other side of the street. He was very good looking, so I just kept, looking away and away and away.
I get to Rittenhouse Square and I see there's this beautiful woman on the other side of the street. She's maybe 20, 30 feet behind me, but we're walking in the same direction.
I noticed him walking on one side and I started walking on the other side of the street, trying to catch up.
I try to time my walk to the corner and then cross so that I'll be there at the perfect moment when she walks by and we can bump into each other, and what a perfect way to meet is that. So I screw it up horribly just because my timing is terrible. I think I got there about, 20 seconds before she was gonna make it to the corner, and I just awkwardly turned and gave up and started walking to my front door.
I just wanted him to see me and talk to me and give it a chance.
I heard a voice and said, hello. And I turned around and it was her.
And he said yes. And then he said, oh my God, you're so beautiful.
I thought she was lost. I thought I was about to have to make up directions to City Hall or something. But no, she just wanted to say hi to me.
He was astonished, and that's so rare, and that's so pure. And we exchanged a couple words, and I asked him, what are you doing? And
I have no game. What I'm supposed to say is whatever you're doing. But instead I said, I'm going to bed because I'm really tired and I'm about to get up to go to a cruise to Alaska with my family. He told me her name was Ania, and I remember thinking that was the most beautiful name I'd ever heard.
he pulled out his business card and he's handing it to me, and he says, I'll be back in 3 weeks, and call me.
She got kind of shy and said, no, maybe we'll just see each other. And
I felt so embarrassed. It was just too much, so I decided to just walk away.
I remember thinking, what if that was her? What if that was wouldn't it be crazy if that was the woman that I'm gonna end up with?
The weeks following that, I would just come to the square and spend some time there. I was wondering if he's back yet, how long it's gonna be. I didn't know if I was going to see him again, but I was really hoping.
So it's about 2 months later. I'm back from the cruise for about a month, and I'm walking down Walnut Street now.
And this tall, handsome guy is walking across the street. And I go, wait a minute, that's him.
I turn the corner onto 18th, and I hear footsteps behind me, and I hear, hello. And I turn around, and it's her again. And immediately I say, Ania?
And I go, what's his name? So he says, would you have a drink with me?
We got a bottle of wine and started, talking, and it was really nice. It flowed so well.
The things that normally I would look for in someone, they were there.
We don't want to say goodbye yet, so I suggest we take a walk to the park. We found an empty bench, so we sat down.
I think we sat down, and then
had our first kiss.
We talked for a little bit, and then I sat on your lap.
Yes.
And then Mendoza showed up. Mendoza, who's a homeless African-American gentleman, very famous on the square. So he came over, and for some crazy reason, he thought I was his niece.
And every 5 minutes, it's like, hey, remember the time I took you to the zoo when you were 12? And
Yeah,
hey, remember the time I taught you how to ride a bike, niece? Wasn't that great?
So he comes and he starts convincing Robert how he has to be a good guy to me. And
that was the first time I promised that I was going to marry you. And I was convinced I was going to break that promise, but apparently I'm a man of my word.
Robert walked me home, then we couldn't say goodbye. I think I was standing on a step and Robert was, giving me kisses, and we just didn't want to say goodbye.
The street lights went off, the sun started coming up, and we're still sitting on the little front step while people are stepping over us to get out and go drop off their dry cleaning. And Eddie Murphy. She laughs exactly like Eddie Murphy. I love that about her. Oh, do it again. Axel Foley. When we were first dating, we took a lot of walks, and we walked down by the river. And behind the art museum, there's a little pavilion that we walked under and it's very romantic. And so we get out and we're walking and I just start leading her towards the pavilion instead of the restaurant. And she starts freaking out because she knows. And I think you're crying at that point the whole way there and you can't believe it.
I think giggling / crying.
And I was dragging you at one point because you couldn't move. But I got you to the middle of the pavilion and I got down on one knee. I took the ring out. I proposed to you. And you said, what? And you made me say it again. Yes,
No, I
said,
screamed yes.
And then you said, what
And
did
then
you
I
say?
said, what did you say?
And then I had to say the
Because
whole
I
thing
couldn't
again.
remember whatever he said. I've been living in Philadelphia for about 10 years and I worked at the Rittenhouse Market, which is right around the corner.
Which is the market I would shop at. I never met her.
And I used to work at Bertucci's on Locust Street.
Which I went to, but I
Which
never
he would
met.
go to, and we just never met.
We never met.
If you put me on the racetrack, I would have won. I just took off. I made it to you.